This is The Clash, where the real world clashes with a true Christian worldview. Join former professional wrestler Chris Whaley, known as the Masked Saint, who is an author, pastor, and teacher that brings his wrestling skills into the squared circle and tackles real-life issues. Along with Jeff Dixon, best-selling author, internationally known teacher, leader, and pastor who is not afraid to tackle the tough issues of the world we live in. Together they form a tag team of wisdom in The Clash.
Hi, and welcome to The Clash, where we take a Christian worldview and allow it to clash into the culture around us. And when it's done, hopefully, we come up with something that's meaningful, insightful, and inspirational, and, hopefully something you'll like watching. I'm Jeff Dixon. I'm joined by Chris Whaley.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, people know this about you. I know they know this about you. I mean, this is why we're sitting here. I mean, you are a former professional wrestler. And so what we've decided to do in this show is something that's pretty cool. Now, what I'm getting ready to tell people is, your character, the persona that you have portrayed is the Masked Saint.
The Saint, right.
The Saint, yeah. And so I off camera, have to refer to him as Saint Christopher. And he makes me do that. And it's only on this show can I call him Chris. And so our guest today is Saint Christopher, or Saint Chris, the Saint. And what we're going to do today, though, is you're going to give us some insights, life lessons that you learn from professional wrestling.
Yep.
Which goes a long way to say it doesn't matter how many times you get hit in the head. You still learn something, right?
Yeah.
Does that work? All right. So what have you learned at this point?
Well, all of those hits to the head has caused me to rely on my notes. So you see me looking down, that's because of all those hits. But yeah, I've got 10 life lessons that I've learned from professional wrestling. And I'd love to hear your response on those.
Are they in like any particular order, or so it's like a top 10?
No, they're just 10 lessons.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, number one, life is not fake. Now, inevitably, anywhere I go to speak, Jeff, you're going to have somebody, Bubba's going to come up to you. Hey, all that wrestling just fake, ain't it? I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that one. Did you like my redneck voice?
I like that.
Yeah.
Do they want to chest bump you too when they say that? They
kind of throw their chest out. Okay. But, professional wrestling is not fake. I mean, you think about it. How do you fake a body slam? How do you fake getting hit over the head with a folding chair? How do you fake getting thrown out of the ring onto a concrete floor? Wrestling is not fake. My injuries in wrestling are too numerous to mention at this time, but I can tell you unequivocally that wrestling is not fake. It is predetermined. You know who's going to win, you know who's going to lose. And of course, that decision is made by the promoter. But the life lesson is my life. My life is not predetermined. My life is not fake. And it's not determined by someone else. My life is determined by the choices that I make. And each choice that I have made in my life has made my life what it is under, God's blessing on my life. But you got to be very careful with the choices that you make in life because they will determine your life. So life is not fake.
So God, in that analogy then, if I'm hearing it right, God is the promoter.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's the one that determines the
so your choices then get you to that point to get you, that hopefully will align you with what he wants you to be.
Isn't it amazing that God gives us freedom of choice?
Yeah. It really is.
He saves us, but I don't know about you, Jeff, but I'll just tell you, I've made some stupid choices in my life. Have you?
Well, compared to you, no. No, of course I have. Of course I have.
But, I used to tell my girls before they went out on a date.
They'll love this, by the way. Yeah. Whatever you're ready to say.
I'd tell my girls, I'd say, listen, it only takes 2 seconds to mess your life up forever. Yeah. You can make a decision that can have lasting effects on your life. Okay.
Well, the other thing too, before you go, because again, and people, I didn't realize this till we kind of got down this road together and we started doing some events, wrestling events here. You know, because even if you're watching on TV, there's that default that you think that, you know, this is fake, and you know that's a padded, you know, you're falling on a padded surface and stuff. And the first time I saw this steel beast get put together with basically planks across it.
Right. 2x8 turned that way.
2x8 turned. I mean, you just look at it. That just hurts to look at it.
Yeah.
And so there's no padding to this thing. So when you hit it, it hurts. It gives because it's wood.
Yeah.
But it gives because you're hitting it hard.
Right.
And so, the padded wrestling it doesn't happen.
Mm-mm.
Real stuff.
Nope.
That's a good lesson.
Real stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good lesson.
Okay. Well.
All right. Number 2, don't beat yourself up just because someone else beat you up. You know, as I said, winning was not my choice in wrestling. It was the promoter's choice. But in life, I win every time I attempt something. You know, even when I fail, that's not the end of the world.
Right.
Because failure is not final until you quit. So you're never a loser until you quit trying.
Sure.
Right. So don't beat yourself up.
I mean, every failure kind of moves you closer to whatever the end game or the end goal is. I mean, I think that's just not wrestling. That's anything in life. I mean, that's, you're trying to invent something, create something, write something, sing something. I mean, you work it, and there's going to be some times that you get it perfect, and other times it's going to be a colossal failure. But it'll keep you moving forward, right?
Yeah, been there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's a very practical thing, because we everyone wants to be perfect, but there's only one person who's perfect. And that was Jesus, and so we try to be like him.
Yeah.
And if we do it well, we get close.
Right.
But we'll never be perfect till we get to heaven.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
just don't beat yourself up because someone else beat you up.
Oh, people get in line to beat you up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there's always
Even in church?
No, always in church. Yeah, there's always something.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you know, every Sunday you wait for the reviews to come in on what you said on Sunday morning if you're a pastor. You know, people line up to agree or disagree or take you to task on something, or, you know, but yeah. That happens all the time. That never ends.
Yep, it does. Well, I don't think we got enough to go into the next one. We're going to have to take a break, and then I'll come back. And
so how many we only got 2 in?
Yeah, but
we got moved, man.
Well, you did the introduction, and that took
Are you
time.
putting this on me?
Yes.
Okay. When we take a break, we're gonna duke it out here. We'll be right back in just a minute.
We haven't talked in a while. What have you been doing?
Well, I appreciate you asking me, Chris, because, interestingly, I have a new book coming out. That's right. About the time you're watching this, January. Saving the Magic Kingdom, a brand new Dixon on Disney novel. Coming out, brand new publisher, Magic Press Publishing, over-the-top adventure, happening at Walt Disney World. So yeah, I've been writing a book, and it's coming out, and I'm excited about it. I hope our folks will take a moment and go out to their favorite bookseller or check it out on Amazon.
As a big fan of Dixon, I've read your other novels, and they are super, so don't forget to get this one.
That's right. Now, I'll pay you as soon as we're done with this advertisement. But it's coming out. It's called Saving the Magic Kingdom, an adventure that takes place inside of Walt Disney World, and it comes out in January of this year. Pre-orders happening now. Hey, Chris, I was just doing my laundry, and look what I found.
Oh, my goodness, look at that. The Clash.
The Clash t-shirt.
I love that.
You know what makes it so special?
Why?
Well, because this is the Clash TV show. This is our logo. This came out of my laundry bucket. That means that these t-shirts are available for everybody to buy. And that means that when you need to do some shopping, that special gift, think about it.
Yep.
You've been invited to a wedding.
Right.
You buy a wedding present for the bride and groom.
Wow.
Matching Clash t-shirts.
How awesome
Every
would that
home
be?
needs that. You know, when they have a baby, what do you want to get the baby?
A onesie.
A onesie, a Clash onesie. You can get that as well.
Right.
If you're looking for that extra special gift for a loved one,
Right.
you can go to the Clash store and get a Clash journal. You can get Clash magnets. You can get Clash widgets and gadgets and keychains. All of that is available. All you have to do is visit the Clash store.
We live in a great day, Jeff.
We do. And perhaps the greatest store out there is the Clash store. So follow the QR code at the bottom of the screen. You can go to the Clash store and get stuff your very own. It'll make us happy. It'll make the show even better. And you can put on your Clash gear while you watch every single episode of The Clash.
Absolutely.
Welcome back. We are talking about the lessons that the Saint learned in professional wrestling. We worked out our differences during the break, and we got that squared away. And so here we are again, and Saint Christopher is going to jump back in and tell us what he has learned.
Okay, number 3. Dreaming is for a lifetime. You know, one mistake that is made in marriage is, after people get married, they stop dating. And my wife and I, we have date night, and we did that before we got married. Now we do we continue to do, we hadn't stopped in 49 years. So a mistake a lot of people make once they start on their life journey is they stop dreaming. I dreamed of becoming a professional wrestler. I fulfilled that dream. I dreamed of writing a book, even though I thought I could never do something like that. I dreamed of that book becoming a TV series. It was enhanced and became a movie instead. So I'm amazed at the number of people that we meet every day, Jeff, that just don't have any dreams. Yeah. And I had this quote from Albert Einstein. He said that, number 1, out of clutter find simplicity. From discord make harmony. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. And man, we live in the land of opportunity and dreams. So don't ever stop dreaming. You still dream, right?
I do, and I think as a follower, I think one of the things that happens as you grow as a follower, I mean, God, you trade your dreams for God-given dreams. Mm-hmm. And it's always better to chase the God dreams than a good dream.
Absolutely.
And the God dream, well, it will bless you, but it also blesses others even more. And so, yeah, by all means,
right.
I agree.
Okay. Number 4, don't ever stop training. I guess you could say, don't ever stop learning and training. I trained for 6 months before I ever had my first match. And the only way that, that can happen is, that training is so that you can be the very best at what you're, doing. I love to wrestle wrestlers who are older than me, because every time I worked against one of those older guys, I always learn more. And if you learn and you train, the possibilities to grow, the possibilities for success are unending. I mean, you just continue on. So don't ever stop training in life.
Yeah, that's the biblical model, right? Mm-hmm. Because Paul was a great author of using word pictures that had to do with athletics and training and preparing and enduring and persevering. So, I mean, all of that is a part of that workout mentality.
Right.
And I think that sometimes we get complacent in our faith because we're not working it out.
Yeah.
Right. But we work out our salvation.
Yeah.
And God does the saving, but we then spend the rest of our lives kind of figuring out how it fits and making sure that we're doing what we're created to do. So.
Yeah. Well, you're going to like this next one.
Okay.
And the next one is this: be prepared for injuries.
Oh, yeah.
It means you don't let life just happen, and that is, you have to be prepared. I guarantee you that you're going to be injured some way in life. And what I mean by that, not necessarily physical injuries, but someone's going to betray you, someone's going to steal your idea, someone's going to throw a wrench in the life machine and upset your world. So you have to expect the unexpected, and how you react to those injuries are also going to determine your success. Jeff, when I was in wrestling, there was always someone who was waiting to take your position. We interviewed Ricky Santana a couple weeks ago, and he said that same thing. If you're off, man, somebody's going to fill your spot.
Yeah.
And if you can't work, there's always someone ready to step in. And if they did, there's a possibility you're not going to get your place back. So I was very blessed to have a high tolerance for pain. I mean, you can't do what we do without getting banged up. So you have to think ahead and have a plan if that happens. So you better be prepared for injuries in life, because those injuries will happen.
And if you connect that to the one that you mentioned before that, right? Injuries for all of us are inevitable.
Right.
And you don't, I mean, and you can't prevent them. You don't get up in the morning and plan to be hurt. So injuries will be inevitable. But the better you have trained before those injuries come along, go a long way toward how that injury is going to affect you, short term and long term, how quick you're going to be able to bounce back from it,
Right.
What you're going to be able to do and learn from that injury so maybe it doesn't happen again, or what you have to adapt and change in your life because of that injury.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's all kind of interconnected in this journey, and that's a faith journey too. It does the same thing.
And we've both been pastors a long time, and you always have someone in your life that as a pastor who keeps making the same mistake over and over and over. They continue to those injuries.
Yeah.
They don't learn from them.
Well, that's job security when you're a pastor, right? I mean, that just means we got a job the next day, right? There's always something to do. Okay.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Okay, next one. Protect the people that you work with. Now, in wrestling, we call it working with someone. You give them your arm, you give them your leg, you allow them to get you in a headlock. It's called working with them. And of course, they do the same with you. But Jeff, I guarantee you that you will have people who will make great input into your life and your business, and always make sure that you protect those people of influence in your life. And after 3 years of people talking to me about making my book into a movie, one of them seemed to be the one. It's finally going to happen. And the guy who was representing me for a short time insulted that guy, and he washed his hands of my project. And of course, I was devastated.
Sure.
But on the night after he sent notice that he no longer had any interest in working on my project, I sent him an email saying how sorry I was and that I thought he made the right decision. And during that negotiating process, I didn't have anything to do with him.
Yeah.
So he didn't know me that well. My rep was doing all of the talking with him. So finally I asked him if we could talk by phone, and we did that, and we became friends. No, we became great friends. And he was the one who ultimately took my book and made it into a movie. We've interviewed him. That was Cliff McDowell. So don't write people off. You protect them, and they will protect you. I serve under your leadership here at the church at 434. And the worst thing that someone can do is come up and say something, and it hasn't happened. I mean, I've been here a long time, Jeff, and it hasn't happened. But, somebody doesn't want to come up to me and badmouth you.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to put up with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you. I serve under you, and I'm going to do all I can to protect you. Sure. So you've got to do that with the people that God puts in your life. You've got to protect them.
I think it's wise. I think it's valuable too for anybody who does leaders, right? I mean, we even as a staff. I mean, how many times have we been in a staff meeting or a staff situation where maybe at the meeting itself we may not agree on something, or we may chase it around the tree a few times, and we may, be on opposite sides of the table on an issue. But when we're done, we walk out in one heart. We walk out and know what the plan is. We work through it.
Right.
And maybe it goes our way, maybe it doesn't, but we're okay.
Yeah.
Because we trust each other. You take care of each other.
Right. Just like in wrestling, you take care of the other guy. Yeah. In life, you got to take care of those people that God
puts. We're about something bigger than that, right? That's how you get things done.
There you go.
These are good. I mean, you remember a lot from getting hit so many times. Let's take another break real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll grab the last couple here. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I love hearing from our listeners. I have a website called themaskedsaint.com, and I get, people telling me things about the old wrestling days. I love to hear from them. I'm on Facebook, I'm on X, I'm on Instagram, and I just never get tired of listening to people. And if you have not read The Masked Saint, I have that available on my website. I have the Christmas book, Harold's Heavenly Christmas. I have the last book that I wrote with a wrestling buddy called Mr. President. Pictures whenever I was still in good shape. I have those available along with t-shirts, anything, but most of all, just love to hear from you.
Hey there, stop whatever you're doing right now. Get your phone out and go ahead and aim it right here at the screen at the QR code right in front of you. Because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, I'm having such a great time watching The Clash, but there's been some episodes that I've missed. Well, if you take a picture of that QR code and follow it to the website, you're going to discover all the episodes of The Clash that you might have missed on a channel called The Church at 434 in Motion. 434 in Motion has that and a lot of other resources, and we would love for you to catch back up on what you've missed. Every day there's brand new programming that comes out, and we want you to be a part of it. Now, hey, relax. It doesn't cost you a dime. It costs you a little bit of time, but it's well worth it because it's time well spent. Actually, it's almost like you're making money at it. So use the QR code, come find us, see the episodes of The Clash that you missed, and let's get back to the show. Thanks for coming back. We're learning some life lessons learned in the wrestling ring. Mm-hmm. And so, Saint, tell us a few more.
Okay. Know when to fight and know when to walk away. That got a little bit of Kenny Rogers in it.
It does. You got a country song in the making there.
Yeah. Every hill is not worth dying on. Yeah. So in life, you have to pick the battles thoughtfully and carefully. And many times relationships are a lot more important than the fight.
Yeah.
Number 8, even bullies will leave you alone once you stand up to them. Now, all of us have bullies that we deal with. I mean, even in church, you got bullies in church. But it's the same way dealing with our baggage and our emotional woundedness. If sometimes it is frightening to stand up to those bullies at first, I know, but just as difficult and frightening to stand up also to our emotional baggage. But once you've done it, you're free from that emotional pain for the rest of your life. So you got to stand up to those bullies in your life.
Is it possible to go through life and be bully-free?
No.
No. I don't think so either.
No, you're gonna have them. I mean, when you're a kid, I was a sickly kid, so I was bullied quite a bit. Were you bullied?
No, I remember being bullied a lot as a kid, but I mean, I've run into a lot of bullies along the way.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for number 9?
Sure.
Love your family. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
You got to have priorities in life. And every church that I went to as senior pastor, I always stood before the people. I said, I want to tell you my priorities. My priorities are God first, my family, and then the church. And if I keep those priorities, I'll be a great pastor. But if I get those mixed up, it's going to mess up. So when I get those priorities mixed up, my world just becomes disorganized because you got to love your family, and always in your family have a plan to deal with the difficulties. My wife and I, we had a plan to deal with our difficulties, a plan to deal with our misunderstandings. We had a plan to deal with the financial problems. We had a plan with parenting. After all, those kids don't come out with directions, do they? I hate that. Both of our girls did well in school. They married well. They're following the same plans for their family as their families grow. So when I was in wrestling as a pastor, my family has always been that strong foundation, whether it was wrestling, whether I was a pastor or whatever. And when I wasn't getting the opportunities that I wanted, I still had my family.
Right.
And whenever I was injured and laid back for a couple of times during those years, I still had my family. That was my foundation. So no matter what I faced, I always had that family to come home to.
And interesting, because you think about some of the people we have actually talked to and interviewed along the way. One of the repeated themes, depending on how deep the interview goes, is the fact that being a wrestler is not an easy choice because it is a heavy toll on your family because of the travel, the away time, the injuries, the mental, strategies that you have to come up with, being in front of a crowd, and when you're not in the ring, what that's like. I mean, that shows up time and time again.
Yeah, it does.
And maybe the difference between being successful in the ring and out of the ring, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right, ready for the last one?
This is the last one.
Last one.
And this will conclude any lesson he ever learned. Is that right? Is that what you're saying? This is the last lesson?
Don't live with regrets. I wrestled the entire time I was in seminary for 3 years, from 1985 to 88. After my last tour in seminary, I had to buckle down because I had to graduate and get my degree. And then suddenly, I graduated and I was on my way to my first church. And I regretted the whole time that I didn't go out the way that I wanted to because it kind of snuck up on me.
Sure.
And so that regret seemed to eat at me for almost 33 years. And so on November the 17th of 2022, I got back into the ring right here at the age of 68 to finally go out the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
So you helped with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And, my heart still breaks when I see injustices. I still remember Miss Edna's words about the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I still remember that. And, I'm a lot older now. I haven't had to do the masked saint stuff in a long time. But, if I had to do it again, I guess I would probably die trying.
Sure.
Because I don't want to live with regrets.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I buy heavily into that philosophy. I don't look back over my shoulder a whole lot, and I don't. You don't want to leave anything undone, and you want to leave it all, all out there. You don't want to leave anything in the tank, and so because when you're done, and that's it. You don't get to go back. There's no redos. So
do over.
No do over. So that's good. Well, you've learned a lot. You're a pretty wise guy.
No, I'm just a bug on the windshield of life, Jeff.
Well, hopefully no one turns the wipers on then. How about that? That way you'll be right. We hope that for you as a listener, you've had a good time. This has been fun to go back in time a little bit and try to think about what you've learned.
Well, I appreciate you letting me do it.
Oh, it's great.
I appreciate you listening.
Yeah. Fun and exciting, and there's always more to come.
Yeah.
And you know what? We'll be back next week with more to come.
More to come.
And so here's our last piece of advice. And this didn't make the list. This is pretty good. Matter of fact, this may actually be the best piece of advice you ever give.
This one?
This one right now.
Don't tap out.